Hey folks, Father Sympathy from CGVirus here. Someone asked for a demo on text tool in Inkscape. It's a bit complicated. It looks like a bit complicated, but it's not. So let's demystify these things. So in Inkscape, we have a text tool. Press T or press this icon. And in Inkscape, there are two types of text tool actually. So one is drag it here, something like that. Now type something. This is called a text block system. In HTML, it is probably the P tag, the div P tag, okay, paragraph tag. And there is another one that is a line tag. So line 2. That means, just click it here, click here somewhere, and type something, press enter, type something, break the line, enter, break the line, or something like that. Okay. So this is actually a line, and we are pressing enter to break the line. So this is the line format, and this is the paragraph format or a text block format. Okay, so this one is done. Number 2. So here we are going for some lorem ipsum, and let's replace Control P, something like that. So now you can see it is giving us a red border. Why it is giving us a red border? Because it has some more text beyond the boundary, this boundary line, the bound. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. And this is the font, whatever your font is. So I'm just going for Adobe Song Steady. These are the line style, not line style, this is the font style. So you can use light or normal, whatever you want to do. So this one is actually light, so yeah, light. Okay, so this is that. Okay, so now let's start working with it. This is a strange mode. Okay, this is the mode button. Actually, it is not enable visible. This is the mode button. This mode button says, if we go here, this one is the mode button for strut value. So this is called the strut. Okay, and what does it do? It's basically, if we enable this, it will treat this text block as its bounding box. Okay, as its bounding box. And then if we perform an operation like 10, something like that, okay, 10 is very small, so that's 11. Okay, the font size is not going with this, but it has some relevance. So when you are enabling this guy, what it will do, it will create a ratio with your bounding box, your line spacing, and font size. Okay, so your font size, your line spacing, and your bounding box, these three will be calculated automatically for you, okay, to do your stuff. Suppose if I go 2, it will create a line space like 2 line space per line, okay, in this bounding box. If we go 1, it will give you things like that. Okay, so the basic problem people think is basically, if we disable or switch our modes, you can see that this is also giving us 1. This is not correct. Okay, let me show you things. If I select this guy, if I press 2 here, okay, you can see all lines are getting a line space. Okay, now if I switch the mode, and now if I go like this, you can see it will giving us a separate line space, but it is not giving us the appropriate line space. Okay, some line is getting bigger, some are getting higher and lower. So what is happening here? This is the most confusing thing. Okay, so let me demonstrate it. So press Ctrl A here. You can see the line space on average is 1.43. What is this? What we need to do is basically, if we are going to use this start value, you need to disable it first. You need to switch to the manual line spacing here. This is the manual line spacing because we have switched to the manual line spacing. You need to disable the manual line spacing at all. So how to disable it is pressing 0. Okay, now the manual line spacing has been discouraged, has been switched off, pressing 0. Now let's go to switch to the bounding box, the start value, and now we can give it something like 2 or 3. Now you can see the appropriate thing. But for some reason, if you don't want to use these these automatic line spacing and stuff, what you need to do is basically switch here to your start value mode, give it 0, switch to the manual line space mode, pressing Ctrl A by the way, and give it 1. Okay, so switch to 1. So what we are doing here, so the thing is, this is called the manual line stuff. So now if I go here, suppose, and now if I line space, you can see only these 2 lines are spacing, other things are fine. So if I go to 0, that means disabling all the line space here. So Ctrl A, press Ctrl A, press 0, all the line spacing, and now I'm enabling our start value line spacing, that means this bounding box line spacing, and pressing 1. Okay, now if I go to this setup, something like this 2 line, if I go here, you can see it's not working. It's not giving us manual line spacing, it's giving us a whole line spacing within this bounding box. So that is the thing. So when you should use these start value line spacing against these manual line spacing, well, it's up to you, it's up to your project. So when you are using the start value line spacing, you need to switch to the mode here, pressing it at least 1, switch off the mode here, press Ctrl A to select all, and give the manual line spacing 0. 0 means it will disable the manual line spacing even if it has 0.1, sorry, yeah, even it has 0.1, it will enable the manual line spacing. So you need to give it 0. Okay, then go to switch to the start value line spacing and give it 1. Okay, now this is enabled. It doesn't matter if it's disabled or not. Okay, this is a switch mode, it is not an enable or disable mode. If we switch it to the start value line spacing, it will give us the start value line spacing, but you have to understand that 1 or greater than 0 is equal to enabled. Less than 0 or 0, actually there is no less than, so 0 is disabled, 1 greater than 0 is enabled. So if we had 0.1, suppose, why I'm doing it like that as always, so yeah, 1, so 0.1, okay, it is enabled. If we go 0, it is disabled. Okay, so if I go here 1, switch to the manual line mode, it is enabled. Got my point? So yeah, so now let's talk about the things here. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate this guy, Ctrl C, Ctrl Alt V. When to use it? Okay, first let's go here. I want to give these only L capitalization. So how can we do it? Just switch. It is in box line mode. That means, you know, the start value line mode. So it will be better if we use something like this. Okay, now let's go here and copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I'm doing it for some things. Yeah, let's see. So if we go here and I want to give this L you know, kind of font size or something, individual font size. So what we should do is basically switch off. This is enabled by default, the switch one, you know, the line spacing. For automatic line spacing or the start line spacing is on. If we switch to the manual line spacing, you can see the line spacing is 0, but we can give it something like 22 or something like that. Okay, so it will work. If we had this switch mode to this box or start value, if we gave it something like this, it would make the whole paragraph, you know, the font size, it will increase the whole paragraph font size. So we don't want to do that. We just want to give some manual you know, per letter basis or per line or per word, whatever the selection, per selection basis adjustment. So we just switch off this and give it something like 22. Okay, so now let's do the same here, but what we need to do is basically we're going to here and we're going to make it 0. Okay, and now let's switch off, switch on to the manual line spacing, and I'm going to give it 1. Okay, so what we have done is basically we have disabled the automatic line spacing and we have enabled the manual line spacing. All right, so now I want to give this the same one. Now you can see the difference. This one is compensating the line spacing evenly with a good ratio, and this one is giving us some gap, right? You can see that. Let me go here. There you go. You can see some discrepancies. Yep, there we go. So this is up to you which one you want to use, but remember, don't mix it. What I meant is don't mix this automatic line spacing and the manual line spacing. Okay, if you're using a manual line spacing, go for manual line spacing. Don't use automated line spacing. Your automated line spacing should be 0. Okay, what happens if I go for both? See, this is not a problem. Yeah, this is not a problem. This is not doing anything. But what if I go for 2? This will destroy everything. So don't use automatic line spacing and manual line spacing altogether. If you are using a manual line spacing, just go for Ctrl A, go for 1 or whatever you want, 2 or whatever you want, 0.2. It's up to you. Okay, do it like that, and you can see that some line space are not going because it was outside the boundary box. So press Ctrl A and you need to go for 1. Yeah, okay. So this happens with your selection. All right, and this one is 0. That means it has we have disabled the automatic line spacing or start value line spacing. Got my point? So when to use it? When to use this start line value is basically you should start you should use start line value when you are having a text block. Okay, this kind of style. Don't use it with this kind of style, line break. It doesn't matter. Actually, it will give you some error. So you need to disable this 0 and you need to enable per line base 1. Okay, now you can work with it. So let me show you. Suppose we're going to use CG virus, this guy. what I need to do is basically we're going to switch on our start value, and we're going to give it 0. Switch off. And so now we are in manual line spacing, and I'm going to give it 1. Okay, so this is the manual line spacing. Okay, so now just go to align tool here, align center, and I want to increase this font size something like, it's already 30, so it's pretty huge. So let's go here, and let's give it something like 30. Let's give it 18, or let's give it 11, something like that. And I want to increase it here as well. So yeah, okay. So suppose I want some spacing. So this is the letter spacing. So let's give it something like 2 or even 3. Yeah, 3 will work. Okay, so now let's go here, and I want to give it something like a tagline, everything CGI, something like that. So I want to less the space here, the line space. So what I can do is basically select this CG, and we can do some line spacing here. So you can see this is the manual line spacing stuff for 0.5 something, 0.6. So in logo design we used to use with these things. So everything CGI, I want to give it less font, something like 11. Yep, and I want to give it much more room. So let's use 0.7 with this. Yeah, now let's go to virus, and we can give it something like 0.8 or 0.7. yeah, this will work. Everything CGI. Okay, let's go here and let's give it a letter spacing of 10. There we go. So that's how you can create your logo and stuff like that, stylized things. Okay, so what I want to say is basically when you are using this kind of word box or text block, use this guy. Okay, and disable the manual line spacing. Use start value 1 and disable the line spacing. When you're using something a very customized breaking line stuff, disable this guy 0, start value, and enable this guy. Okay, this is the easiest part, and other things are pretty much fine. You will find all this stuff here. So this is the space between line. Already we have seen that. This one is called space between words. Suppose 1. So this will not work pretty good because it's not a word. So yeah, something like that. Space between word, we'll go to 1. You can see what is happening. So 50, space between word. Yeah, okay. This one is probably, I'm not sure, let me see. What is this one? Horizontal kerning. So horizontal kerning means shifting. Okay, suppose this one 10 shift or minus 10 shift, left to right or right to left. Yeah, something like that. And this one is vertical, so 10 minus 10. Yeah, just experiment with those things. This one is rotation. Okay, so you can do it like that. Okay, let's see this. This one is this is the horizontal text, and this one, if you need a vertical text, you can do it like this. This is the orientation of vertical text. Nope, this one. Yeah, orientation of vertical text, something like this, something like this, something like this. So yeah, these are the things. All right, so that's it. Now let's talk about some other stuff, some basic stuff. Let's go for this. I'm not going to use this one because it's faulty. It has manual kerning. Okay, yeah, this one has manual line spacing, and we have disabled the automatic line spacing, so it will not be correct because you can see the space here. so we're not going to use it. We're going to use this one. So I'm just going to Control C and Control V just to demonstrate the stuff. So suppose this is our CG virus here, somewhere here. So yeah, just random stuff. So how can you do some gutter stuff? So what you can do is basically you can do something like this, and then just Control C, Control V. Actually, not like this. Control C, Control Alt V, and we can give it something like this, gutter. Yeah. Let's do it like that, somewhere center. So what we can do is basically just select this. First of all, what you need to do is basically you need to combine the path or union, then just give it like this, text and follow. So if I go here and shift black, and fill is I can't see anything. Let me see it. Okay, let's go for black. Let's go for Ctrl Shift F. I'm going for a stroke with one, fill no color. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, okay, so what you need to do is basically go here, select it, and let's use 11, something like that. There we go. We have this, so turn off automatic, and let's give it something like 20 or 32. Yep, there we go. So that's how you can work with it. Pretty simple. There we go. So this is your gutter, and let's use more text, something like this, the whole text. Okay, so there we go. Control P, there we go. That's it. So to disable it, go to the stroke style, press 0. There we go. Simple. Okay, let's go here and let's justify it. There we go. And that's how you can work with it. And if you want to see it, let's go stroke. If you want to give it more gutter, you can do it like that. Simple stuff. There we go. That's it. Okay, so yeah, see virus. Suppose we need it something like left. There we go. So let's use Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I'm just showing you some stuff. Yeah, some of that. Also there are lots of tools you can use. Let's use them, let's see them. Just I don't know, test and font, test and font, test and font. Okay, so you can select your test and font, you can create some set as default. Those are basic things, you know, you can do it. SVG font, I don't know. Glyphs, I don't know. Put on path, that means, you know, suppose you have let's see, Control C, Control V, and you need some circle. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so suppose we have some circle here, and we have some text, blah blah blah. Okay, so what we can do is basically we can select this, we can go to text, we can put on path. Okay, yeah, there you go. So for CD cover or stuff like that, you can do it like that. Also, you can do any, you can use any kind of path here. So if you have a Bezier curve, you can do it like that as well. So follow in frame, we have shown that. If you want to unfollow the frame, you can unfollow the frame as well. But yeah, how can we do that? Is basically you need to select your frame here. You need to select your text, and the text, unfollow text. You will see the weirdest thing ever, and this is that. Okay, so to format it again, what you need to do is basically you just need to create a basic text form here, and then select it, and then select it, and go to text, and follow here. Okay, it will follow it again. So just select it like that. Okay, so basically what you see here, okay, this is exactly the same methodology used with follow. Okay, if you don't understand it, you don't need to. Okay, it is using the same methodology we are doing here. Okay, so yeah, we're doing here. Okay, with the follow thing, right? So you can do it like that. You can do very lots of interesting stuff with it, so just go for it. And convert to text, I don't know what does it mean. Remove manual kerns, that means if you have any kerning, it will remove the manual kern. And this is the check spelling, that's it. And there are some filters for text tools as well, sorry, extensions for text tools as well. So change case, if you want to change all the uppercase, you can do it uppercase. Okay, there are some extension like convert to barley extract, lorem spam. You can use lorem spam and things like that. So yeah, so these are some basic stuff. Okay, hopefully it was informative. So if you have any question, let me know. I'm Father Sampathik from CG Virus, and we're going to see you next time. Bye bye.